All right, let's get started. So welcome, Blown Community, to the second Buckle Up with Mike and Brian.
Whoa, I'm gonna buckle up for that one.
I think you missed the buckle.
I got this.
12-point restraint.
I got
Our
this. Here we go.
topic this time is checking charge in low ambient conditions. So I'm Jess. I'm the Community Growth Manager here at Blue On. You guys can introduce yourselves.
I'm Brian. He's not.
I'm Mike.
I'm the director of the Tech Community #1 Smartass. Okay, next.
Perfect. All right, so how this is going to work, it's going to be a 15-minute segment. You guys watching can ask your questions, and we have a list of questions that were sent in earlier today. So we're just going to get started with those. All right, first question. Here we go. How do you check charge when it's cold out on a heat pump?
Well, as a matter of fact, I had a feeling this question would come up. So there's a sticker inside the condensing units it says heating check chart. And it is got a huge, I wish you could all see how ridiculous that chart is. But it's got a span. If your inside dry bulb temperature is between 60 and 70, and your outside dry bulb is between 60 and 80, then your pressures will be in that range. It also says on the same sticker that you cannot charge the unit in heat, that you can only check the charge in heat. And if you had a leak and you had to recharge it, then they're saying fix the leak and put back in. Well, yeah, you're going to start from scratch. You have to weigh in the charge to what it says on the nameplate. And then when it warms up, go check it in cooling.
All right, cool. Number 2. How do you check charge on a mini split that controls an electric room?
I'm gonna let you do that one.
Well, a mini split for an electric room is going to be in cooling. It's not a heat pump. They're talking about a straight cool unit on that. And when you're dealing with below 60 degrees outside, the only thing I can tell them to do is bag it and falsify your head pressure by putting a bag over the condenser or depends on the mini split, whether it's a Gazena air or Gazada air, which side you have to bag. But as your head pressure comes up to what would be normal for a 75, 80 degree day, then you can just start peeling back the bag, and that should give you a pretty good idea as to suction pressure and what your temperature split is on the evap. Still looking for a 20 degree delta on the evap. So if your suction pressure looks normal for the room temperature and your head pressures by using the bag is in its normal range, like I say, for a 75, 80 degree day, that's about as close as you're going to come, especially when there's snow on the ground.
Very cool. All right, people out there watching, ask your questions. Again, the topic is checking charge in low ambient conditions. All right, we got one question from Richard, and he's asking, best practice on checking PCBs.
Well, the PCBs that I'm aware of were in capacitors, and they haven't done that in many, many years. So,
Yeah, I'm thinking transformers, the old transformers. Carcinogens.
All right, cool. Next question, can you check the charge on a heat pump in heating mode?
you can check the charge. Yes, again, I'm gonna, the chart, the pink chart on the 410 units, as I recall, they had them on the R22 as well, but it's just getting you in the ballpark. So yes, you can check the charge, but if you have a system problem and need to add refrigerant, there's no manufacturer's instructions out there that I have found that gives you the data. They just tell you to pull it all out and restart with virgin refrigerant, dumping in the factory weight off of the condensing unit, and then go back when it warms up.
Yeah, but the only other thing you can do is turn around and look at the head pressure and look at your delta T. That's going to give you a relatively good check as long as you're not pulling real high head pressure.
Again, in the heat though, it's not, you would have to put the system in cooling. So basically force the machine into defrost, and again, now you're dealing with, my buddy Leon and his, 26 degrees outside trying to check one of those mini splits. You gotta bag the condenser,
Yeah.
so.
Cool. All right, next one. How do we read the charging chart on a carrier HP?
The
Can you
chart,
guys speak up a little bit?
the charging chart is, well, similar to the piece of paper I just threw on the floor. So, the charging chart is gonna be the same thing, except it's gonna have, wet bulb and wet bulb. So you would have your indoor temperature and your outdoor, temperatures and wet bulb, and then you would just follow them across. So where they intersect, that would be the pressures that you would be wanna looking at.
Got it. Cool. All right, guys, continue to ask your questions in the chat. Again, topic is checking charge in low ambient conditions. So anything you want to know about that, just drop it here and we can have our experts answer those questions. On to the next one we got
How
sent
do you
in.
keep a solenoid valve open on a heat pump when recovering? Go ahead, Mikey, that was a good one for you.
Magnets. Yeah,
Is it Subco that sells the?
Subco's got one and JB's got one. Let's digress slightly. Never put power on the solenoid when the coil is off of the solenoid valve, because you'll burn it up.
Unless you put a screwdriver
Yeah,
in it,
exactly.
Which is an old guy trick.
Yeah. But they make a really cool magnet that fits right over the solenoid valve. You put it on there, the magnet opens the valve, and you're good to go.
And somebody commented too that CPS has one as well, so thanks for the question, that was good.
Awesome. All right, on to the next one. Are there methods which could be helpful when charging in low ambient conditions?
I think Brian kind of hit that. You got to get the head pressure up, because the systems are designed to have a given differential pressure from suction to discharge. And so when it's really, really cold outside, you got to get the head pressure up. You can use cardboard, you can use plastic bags, fan cycling, you can shut off the fans. There's different ways you can do it, but you got to get that head pressure up.
Makes sense. Cool. Okay, are there ways to improve small unit performance in low ambient conditions?
Yes, you can turn around and add a low ambient kit, which is going to basically give you fan cycling to keep the head pressure up.
Yeah, not only do they have the Penn Johnson fan cycle, which is on-off, they have the voltage resistant P66 that'll slow the fan down so that it's not bouncing on and off. But I find those very hard on motors.
Yeah.
Because it's a reduced voltage, not a VFD. It's a reduced voltage. So when you send less voltage but not less hertz, you end up overheating the windings. So be careful on that one. Make sure that the motor's rated for that. Other than that, just go with the standard Penn Johnson fan cycle.
All right, can you guys see the question from Rico on the screen there? You might have to scroll up.
Will the superheat and subcool be the same in low ambient conditions?
No, because you're swapping coils now.
Yeah, if you're talking about a heat pump, the answer is no. If you're talking about running it in cooling, the answer is maybe. Your superheat should be controlled in cooling, but your subcool will change drastically in low ambient conditions. You will probably stack more in the condenser. So the subcool is not going to be what you would normally see, but you should still see the same superheat.
Cool. All right, next one. Why is there a higher delta T in heating than in cooling on a heat pump?
Because your evaporator coil is smaller than your condenser coil. And the reason for this is that in the cooling mode, you have to not only reject the heat that you pulled out of the evaporator, but you've got to get rid of the heat of compression. So they're typically 27 to 33% larger. That's why you'll typically see about a 30-degree delta T on the evaporator and heating, and only 20 on the evaporator and cooling.
Yep.
All right, cool. Again, guys, ask your questions. Checking charge in low ambient conditions. Ask away in the chat. All right, we got another one here that was sent in. How to force defrost. How do you go about that?
Well, I've done quite a few things to force defrost. Because the sensor that sits on the outdoor coil is looking for that 32, you can to test it. I have done that whole ice bath like you would setting up a thermometer. So you remove the sensor off of the coil and actually set it in an ice bath and force it that way. On some of the units, there's a test mode on the board that you can force by going through a sequence on the test mode, and it'll come around to testing the defrost circuit. And some units look at outside air as well as coil temperature, and if the outside air is above 53 degrees, it will not go into defrost even if there's ice built up on the coil. So therefore, to test that one, you would have to put both of those sensors in an ice bath, and then just pray that the wiring is actually still sealed. You don't short it out.
Or you can use that arc to defrost the coil.
Yeah.
All right, we got another question from Rico. If you scroll up, you'll see it on the screen.
From Rico?
Mm-hmm.
Will temperature split be lower than usual in low ambient conditions?
We talking heat pump? We talking?
Well, in general, no. I would not expect that my temperature splits would be different on the indoor, regardless of what's going on outside.
Well, it gets to the point outside where you got no heat to pull in, so you can get much across it.
Well, I'm sorry. Again, my brain looking at the goosebumps on my arms is thinking heat pumps. So, not air conditioning.
Awesome. Okay, guys, last chance for questions. Last chance to get them in. While you get those in, we have one more question that was sent in. Last thing, what starts the defrost cycle?
A lot of them are time. A lot of them are temperature sensors. Some of them are simply switches. Some of them are time based on below ambient temperature at a given point.
Right.
So it all depends. I mean, every one of the manufacturers thinks that they have a better idea.
Yeah, like I was saying a second ago, there's some of them that look at outside air and coil temperature. There's ones that look at time, where it'll look at the coil temperature every given set of minutes, 45, 120. So it really depends on the manufacturer. But.
Awesome. All right. No more questions? Oh, we got one more. All right. Moving on. Download.
So.
Remind everyone downloading the app.
Yeah, guys, there's a couple of things we got going on. First of all, thanks for everybody for jumping on the phone and that's utilizing the app and the Blue On support platform. That is absolutely fantastic. We're getting a lot of great questions. We're putting that stuff out. We're creating the forum. It's totally free. If you haven't downloaded the app yet, download that. Call in, get your code, get it unlocked. Again, 35,000 pieces of equipment, 24/7 tech support, tips, tricks, tools. We're creating stuff daily that is going to make your guys' lives easier. And when you call me, you got to understand I'm a smart ass and I get through life through humor, and we'll walk you through a job. The guys that have talked to Big Bad Burly Bitch and Brian or Blue on Brian, they all know me. That they're guaranteed to laugh before we get off the phone. It just makes the job go easier. So 100% free, Blue On support platform. You're watching us on Instagram. Look for us on YouTube, Facebook, freaking
Instagram, YouTube.
LinkedIn, there we go. My brain's kicking back in. But look for us on all the platforms, even YouTube. I think I'm supposed to say like, subscribe, and hit the bell. So that you stay up on top of all this stuff. And again, just download the app, use the platform, use the tools that we've got for you.
All right,
There's more hearts. Gotta love
a
that.
final question. If you scroll up on your screen from HVAC MC.
I'm sorry, our screen froze. You're gonna have to just do it. You're gonna have to tell it to me. Sorry.
See if I can do this correctly. Okay, do you guys do tech support on 25 VNA carrier condenser units?
We will do everything we can to help you on anything you want to call in on. And I think one of the really, really important things is if there's things that you guys need, let us know. It's a community. We're in this together.
Yep.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
All right, so we're going to be continuing to do these Buckle Up with Mike and Brian episodes. So every few weeks, be sure to tune in and ask your questions. So yeah, thanks for hopping on, guys. See you next time. Happy
Peace,
holidays.
y'all.
Have a good one.